Hi everyone. Today this is not just a motivational video, it's a powerful guide to help you become a confident and inspiring communicator. Have you ever watched someone speak and felt completely drawn in by their words? Maybe it was a teacher, a leader, or even a close friend. They didn't just speak, they connected with you in a way that made you listen carefully, think deeply, and feel truly inspired. The secret behind their power isn't magic or talent. It's a skill anyone can learn. Communication is more than just words. It's how we share ideas, build real connections, and earn trust. In this lesson, I'm excited to share 13 powerful tips to boost your communication skills so you can speak like a true leader. Stay with me until the end because each tip builds on the last. By the time we finish, you'll see speaking and listening in a whole new way. Before we start, remember this. Good communication isn't about using big words or perfect grammar. It's about making your message clear, touching your listener's heart, and giving value with every word. Great leaders know how to do this naturally, but they weren't born with it. They practiced, made mistakes, learned from them, and kept going. And guess what? You can do the same. Tip 1. Start with why make people care. Many people, when they begin to speak, jump straight into what they do or how they do it. They describe their job, their product, or their daily routine. But truly powerful communicators and leaders do something very different. They start with why. Why does your message matter? Why should someone stop and listen to you when they could be doing 1,000 other things? Why do you care so much about what you're saying? When you speak from your why, something magical happens. Your words stop being just words. They become alive, filled with your passion and truth, and they reach the hearts of the people listening. Think about the difference it makes. Imagine you're trying to encourage your friend to study English with you. If you simply say, "Let's study English together," it sounds like just another activity, something that could easily be replaced by watching a movie, scrolling through the phone, or going out for tea. But what if instead you say, "I really want us to study English because I believe it can change our lives." Imagine if we could travel anywhere, understand movies without subtitles, or even get a better job and help our families. That's why I'm so motivated to learn. Suddenly, it doesn't feel like homework anymore. It feels like a meaningful journey you both could take. That's the power of starting with why. When you share your why, people don't just hear your words, they feel your sincerity. Your why reveals your true intention, and people respect and trust speakers who are honest about what drives them. This is why some speakers, even if they're not the most polished, can deeply move us. Their words carry the weight of genuine belief. Leaders and great communicators understand that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's not the service or product itself, but the reason behind it, the vision, the dream that captures hearts. Your why also helps you stay strong and motivated, especially when you face difficulties. When you forget why you started, even small problems can feel heavy and discouraging. But when your why is clear in your mind, it becomes your anchor. It reminds you why you must keep going, why your message matters, and why you can't give up. Think about your favorite leaders or speakers. They often speak from a place of purpose. Their words are not about showing off or sounding smart. They are about serving a cause greater than themselves. So before you open your mouth to speak, whether it's in class, at work, or in front of a camera, pause and ask yourself, why am I saying this? What do I truly hope to give to the person listening? When you start with why, your message becomes more than information. It becomes inspiration. And when people feel your why, they don't just listen. They care, they remember, and sometimes they act. That is what it truly means to speak like a leader. Tip 2. Listen twice as much as you speak. When most people think about communication, they imagine speaking confidently, choosing the right words, and expressing ideas clearly. But the truth is, Great communication is not only about talking, it is equally, and sometimes even more, about listening. Listening is what makes your words truly meaningful because it helps you understand what others really need to hear. Leaders, teachers, and those who inspire us most all share this powerful skill. They listen deeply and with genuine care. Listening isn't just keeping your mouth closed while someone else talks. It means paying close attention without judgment or distraction to the person in front of you. It means trying to feel what they feel and understand why they feel it. When you listen this way, people notice. They sense your respect and interest, and they begin to trust you. Think about the last time someone really listened to you, without checking their phone, without interrupting, and without rushing to give advice. Didn't it feel good? It felt like your words mattered, and so did you. That's the gift of true listening. Many people, when someone else is speaking, are only half listening. In their minds, they're busy planning what to say next or thinking about their own opinions. But great communicators don't do that. Instead, they focus completely on the speaker. They show this through their body language, nodding, keeping eye contact, leaning slightly forward. And they use words that prove they are listening, like, "I see," "That must have been hard," or "Tell me more." These small phrases show that you are fully present in the conversation. Listening deeply also helps you choose better words when it's your turn to speak. When you understand someone's feelings, you can respond with kindness, clarity, and relevance. Your words will feel more natural and true because they come from understanding, not from guessing. And when people feel understood, they're much more willing to listen to you in return. This creates a real connection, one built on trust and empathy. Great leaders often say they listen more than they speak. There's even a simple rule that reminds us, we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we talk. It may sound simple, but it is powerful. The next time you're in a conversation, try to focus completely on the other person. Ask questions like, "How did that make you feel?" or "What happened next?" And really wait for the answer before saying anything else. By practicing this habit every day, you will notice a change, not just in how people respond to you, but also in how you see the world. You'll understand people better, and your words will start to carry more kindness and wisdom. That is how listening, something so quiet and gentle, can become one of the strongest tools you have to speak like a leader. Tip 3. Use simple and clear language. One of the biggest misunderstandings many beginners have is the belief that using difficult words and long, complicated sentences will make them sound smarter or more impressive. But if you look closely at the best communicators, great leaders, inspiring teachers, and popular speakers, you'll notice something surprising. They almost always use simple and clear language. They don't try to show off with fancy vocabulary. Instead, they focus on making sure their message is easy to understand. And that's what truly makes them sound wise and powerful. Simple language doesn't mean your thoughts are simple. It means you've worked hard to make your ideas clear for others. Imagine explaining an idea to a friend who knows nothing about it. You wouldn't use complicated words just to sound clever. You'd choose words that help your friend truly see what you mean. That's exactly what great communicators do. They respect their listeners enough to speak plainly because their goal isn't to look smart, but to make sure everyone understands. Think about famous speeches from history or powerful TED Talks. They are full of short, direct sentences. Important ideas are repeated in slightly different ways so that they stay in people's minds. This isn't an accident. Clear and simple language helps people remember what you say. It also makes your message feel honest, direct, and sincere. When you try too hard to sound clever, people might get lost or even think you're trying to hide something behind your words. But when you speak simply, your words feel true. It also helps to imagine your listener while you speak. Ask yourself, would a friend understand this? Would someone hearing this for the first time feel confused? If you think they might, change your words. Use everyday language. Replace difficult words with simpler ones, and break long sentences into shorter ones. This doesn't make your message weaker, it makes it stronger, because more people can understand it and remember it. In the end, great communication isn't about showing how much you know. It's about making sure your listener learns, feels, or thinks something new. That's what real leaders and teachers do. They don't make things harder. They make them clearer. So the next time you speak, don't try to sound impressive. Instead, try to make your listener feel included, understood, and valued. Because simple and clear language doesn't just help people understand you. It also shows that you truly care about them. And that is what makes your words powerful and your message unforgettable. Tip 4. Tell stories, not just facts. Many people believe that if they fill their speeches or conversations with facts, statistics, and logical arguments, everyone will immediately understand them and agree. It seems reasonable. After all, facts are true, and logic is hard to argue with. But while facts can inform people, they rarely move them. Facts can touch the mind, but they often fail to touch the heart. This is why the best communicators, great leaders, teachers, and speakers don't stop at sharing facts alone. They tell stories, because stories have a unique and powerful way of making people care, remember, and act. Think about your own experience. If someone says hard work is important, you might agree, but it feels distant, almost cold. You understand the words, but the message doesn't stay with you for long. Now imagine instead that this person tells you about a time when they failed an exam, felt disappointed, but then decided to study harder. They tell you how they stayed up late every night, read their notes over and over, and finally passed the next exam with a high score. Suddenly, you don't just know the idea, you feel it. You see their struggle, feel their fear, and share in their happiness. That same idea, hard work matters, becomes alive, human, and unforgettable. This is the magic of storytelling. Stories do more than illustrate an idea. They invite your listener to imagine, to feel, and to relate your words to their own lives. Our minds are naturally attracted to stories. Since childhood, stories have been the way we learn about the world, understand other people, and discover ourselves. When you start telling a story, something changes in your listener's mind. They become curious. They wonder, what happened next? How did it end? This curiosity keeps them listening, even if your story is simple or short. Great leaders know this secret well. They use stories to explain complex ideas, teach lessons, and inspire action. Martin Luther King Jr., for example, could have spoken only in facts and numbers about inequality. But instead, he told stories about real people and shared his own dreams and struggles. That's why his words still inspire people today. And you don't need to be famous to do this. Even small, everyday stories about helping a neighbor, facing a fear, or learning from a mistake can carry powerful messages if you share them with honesty and feeling. Before your next speech, presentation, or even an everyday conversation, pause and ask yourself, what is the main idea I want to share? And do I have a story that shows this idea in real life? When you speak, lead with that story instead of just stating the fact. You'll notice your listener leaning in, paying more attention, and remembering your message long after the conversation ends. In the end, people may forget the numbers, the data, or the exact words you used, but they will remember how your story made them feel. And when your words touch someone's heart, that's when true communication happens. So don't be afraid to tell your stories, big or small, funny or serious. Your stories make your message human, real, and alive. And that is what helps you truly speak like a leader. Tip 5. Use your body language. Many people think that communication is all about words, choosing the right vocabulary, forming clear sentences, and speaking loudly enough to be heard. But the truth is, words are only part of what people notice when you speak. Your body language, how you stand, move, and even the look on your face often speaks louder than your words. This is because human beings naturally read nonverbal cues, sometimes without even realizing it. And if your body language doesn't match your words, people won't fully believe what you're saying. So if your words say, "I'm confident," but your shoulders are tense, your gaze is on the floor, and your hands are hidden, people won't feel your confidence. They will sense your fear instead. Good body language doesn't mean acting or forcing yourself to look perfect. It means learning to let your natural energy and feelings show in your movements and expressions. When you talk about something positive or exciting, let your face smile naturally. A smile is a universal signal that makes people feel comfortable and interested. When you want to appear confident, stand tall with your shoulders relaxed and your feet grounded. Good posture doesn't just look better. It also helps you feel calmer and more powerful inside. Eye contact is another simple yet powerful tool. Looking people in the eyes shows respect and honesty. It makes your listener feel that you truly see them and care about them. But remember, it doesn't mean staring too hard, which can feel uncomfortable. It's about a warm, steady gaze that says, "I'm here with you." Your hands also play a big role in communication. Many beginners don't know what to do with their hands, so they hide them in pockets or keep them completely still. But natural hand gestures help you express your ideas more clearly. For example, opening your palms when explaining something makes you look open and honest. Using your hands to show size, shape, or direction can also help your listener picture what you mean. Just remember, the key is natural movement, not forcing yourself to copy someone else. Even small details like the way you breathe matter. Taking slow, deep breaths before and during speaking helps keep your body relaxed, your voice steady, and your mind focused. When you're calm inside, your body language naturally becomes calmer and stronger. The goal isn't to act like someone you're not. It's about letting your body and words work together so your message feels true. When your words and body language match, people trust you more. They feel your sincerity and confidence, and they listen not only with their ears, but also with their hearts. In the end, communication isn't just about what you say, but how you say it, with your voice, your face, your hands, and your posture. So practice speaking in front of a mirror, record yourself, and notice what your body is saying. With time, using your body language well becomes natural, helping you connect deeply and speak like a true leader. Tip 6. Slow down and use pauses. One of the most common habits that beginners have when speaking, especially in a new language like English, is speaking too quickly. This usually happens because of nervousness. When you feel anxious, your mind races ahead, and your words try to keep up. But great communicators, the kind who truly inspire and hold attention, do something very different. They slow down and embrace the power of silence. At first, it might feel uncomfortable to speak slowly or to pause. You might worry that your listeners will get bored or think you don't know what to say. But the truth is just the opposite. Speaking slowly and using pauses wisely makes your words stronger, clearer, and more powerful. When you slow down, you help your listener follow your thoughts more easily. Imagine listening to someone who rushes through every sentence. You catch some words but miss others, and soon you feel lost. But when someone speaks calmly, with pauses between ideas, each thought has space to breathe. The listener has time to reflect on what was just said and prepare for what comes next. Your message becomes clearer and more memorable simply because you allowed your audience time to absorb it. Pauses also add weight to your words. Think of them as natural punctuation marks in speech. After you share an important idea or ask a meaningful question, a short pause gives your listeners a moment to process it. It shows that what you just said matters and invites them to think deeply about it. A pause isn't an empty space. It's a powerful tool that quietly says, "This is important. Listen." Slowing down also helps you appear more confident and in control. Nervous speakers often rush, and listeners can sense that anxiety. But when you take your time, it shows you believe in your message and aren't afraid to let it stand on its own. It gives the impression that you're thinking carefully about what you say, rather than just trying to finish quickly. This calmness inspires trust and respect. If speaking slowly feels strange at first, that's normal. You might feel like your pauses are too long or that your words sound too stretched out. But from the listener's point of view, it rarely feels too slow. A good way to practice is to record yourself speaking and listen back. You'll often find that what felt like a long pause to you sounds completely natural to others. Another simple technique is to take a slow breath before you start speaking and after you finish a sentence or key idea. Breathing not only calms your mind and body, but also naturally slows your pace and gives your words more rhythm and strength. In the end, remember this: silence isn't your enemy, it's your partner in communication. By slowing down and using pauses, you don't just fill time, you give meaning and power to your words. And that is a true sign of speaking like a leader. So next time you speak, dare to slow down. Let your words breathe and watch how much more deeply your message connects. Tip 7. Practice every day. Many people see someone speak fluently and confidently and think they must have been born with that talent. But the truth is, great communicators aren't born. They are made through practice, patience, and persistence. Speaking clearly and confidently, especially in English, if it's your second language, is not something that happens overnight. It's something you build slowly, step by step, day by day. And the most important secret behind it all is very simple. Practice every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. You don't have to stand on a stage to practice your communication skills. There are many easy ways you can practice daily, right from where you are. You can start by reading aloud from a book, newspaper, or an article online. When you read aloud, you train your mouth to form words more clearly, and you also hear your own pronunciation. This small habit, done regularly, helps your speaking become smoother and more natural. Another powerful method is to record your voice. At first, it may feel strange or uncomfortable to listen to yourself, but it's incredibly useful. When you play back your recording, you can notice things you don't realize while speaking. Maybe you're speaking too fast, not pronouncing certain sounds clearly, or your voice sounds too quiet or flat. Once you notice these things, you can work on improving them. Over time, you'll hear your own progress, which can motivate you to keep going. Speaking in front of a mirror is another simple yet effective practice. When you look at yourself while speaking, you become more aware of your facial expressions, body language, and confidence. You might notice that you don't smile enough, or that your posture could be stronger. Correcting these small details makes a big difference in how others see and feel your message. If possible, join an English speaking club or a conversation group. Speaking with real people helps you get used to thinking and responding in English naturally. Even talking to a friend or family member in English for just a few minutes each day can help build confidence. The more you speak, the less fear you will feel. Most importantly, remember this: mistakes are not something to fear, they are part of learning. Every time you make a mistake, you discover something new about what to improve. Instead of feeling embarrassed, see each mistake as a teacher guiding you forward. Even the best speakers in the world started as beginners who stumbled over words and forgot what to say. In the end, progress comes from consistency, not perfection. Even 5 or 10 minutes a day can make a real difference over time. So don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect level of confidence to start. Start now, keep going, and watch yourself grow into the kind of communicator you admire. Because speaking like a leader isn't something you're born with. It's something you create one day at a time through daily practice. Tip 8. Know your audience. One of the most important parts of speaking like a leader is understanding that your words are not just about you, they are about the people who will hear them. Before you open your mouth to speak, take a moment to ask yourself, Who is my audience? Are they your close friends who know your personality well? Are they your classmates who share similar struggles and dreams? Or are they your coworkers or even strangers who might see the world very differently from you? Knowing who you are talking to is like holding a key. It helps unlock the best way to share your message so that people truly listen and feel connected. When you know your audience, you can choose words that feel natural and familiar to them. You can share stories that they will understand and care about. For example, if you are talking to other English learners, sharing a story about struggling with grammar or pronunciation makes sense. They've been there too. But if you're speaking to a group of business professionals, you might choose a story about teamwork or problem solving at work. The message might be similar, but the way you tell it changes to match the people listening. Understanding your audience also means thinking about what matters to them. What are their goals, worries, and dreams? If you can speak to those things, your words will feel more personal and powerful. For instance, if your classmates worry about passing an exam, talking about study techniques and motivation will catch their attention more than if you speak about something unrelated. When people feel that your message is for them, not just anyone, they listen more closely and remember what you say. Great communicators don't just talk, they connect. And that connection comes from respect, showing your audience that you care enough to think about what they need and want to hear. This doesn't mean you must change who you are or what you believe. It means you shape your message so that it meets your listeners where they are. Just like you would explain something differently to a child than to an adult, you adjust your language, tone, and examples so your audience can easily follow and feel included. Leaders always keep their audience in mind from the first word to the last. This doesn't only help your listeners, it helps you too. When you know who you're talking to, it becomes easier to choose what stories to tell, what details to include, and what words to use. You'll feel more confident because you won't just be speaking into empty space. You'll be speaking to real people with real thoughts and feelings. So before your next conversation, presentation, or even a short talk, take a moment to picture your audience. Ask yourself, who are they? What do they care about? What can I share that will help them? When you start from there, your words become not only clearer, but also warmer and more human. And that is what truly helps you speak like a leader. Someone who doesn't just speak to be heard, but speaks to reach hearts and minds. Tip 9. Be honest and authentic. One of the most powerful ways to communicate like a leader isn't by using fancy words or perfect grammar. It's by being completely honest and true to yourself. People can sense very quickly when someone is pretending to be someone they're not. It feels forced, and the listener quietly pulls away. But when you speak from the heart, sharing your real thoughts, feelings, and even your fears or mistakes, something different happens. People lean in. They listen, not just with their ears, but with their hearts, because they feel your sincerity. Being honest doesn't mean saying everything that crosses your mind without care. It means having the courage to let your words come from your true self, rather than from a place of fear or desire to impress. It means saying, I don't know when you really don't know, instead of pretending to have all the answers. It means admitting, I was nervous before this speech, or I've made this mistake too, instead of trying to look perfect. Surprisingly, it's these moments of vulnerability that often make people respect you more. Because in those moments, they see not just a speaker, but a real person, just like them. Many beginners worry that if they show their weaknesses or talk about failures, people will think less of them. But the opposite is usually true. Sharing your challenges shows that you are human. And when you share how you faced or learned from those challenges, your story becomes inspiring. It says to your listeners, if I can do this, so can you. That message is far more powerful than any perfectly memorized speech. Authenticity also makes communication easier and more natural. When you try to sound like someone else, maybe a famous speaker you admire, or someone you think people want to hear, You add pressure to yourself. Your words feel heavy and your delivery feels stiff. But when you allow yourself to speak as you truly are, your words flow more freely. Your voice sounds warmer and your body language becomes more relaxed. Listeners can feel this natural energy and it draws them in. True leaders understand that trust doesn't come from perfection. It comes from honesty. People are not inspired by someone who seems unreal and flawless. They are inspired by someone who is real, who has walked through struggle and still chooses to speak with hope and courage. You don't have to hide your accent, your nerves, or your doubts. Instead, show your audience how you keep going despite them. That is what makes your words believable and your message unforgettable. So the next time you speak, ask yourself, am I trying to impress or am I trying to connect? Choose to connect. Share your real story, your real feelings, and your real thoughts. Because when you speak honestly and authentically, you don't just communicate, you build trust, inspire hope, and speak like a true leader. Tip 10. Use positive words. The words you choose when you speak have incredible power. They can either lift people up, fill them with hope and courage, or they can bring people down and make them feel discouraged. This is why great communicators are very careful about the words they use. They understand that positive words don't ignore problems or pretend everything is perfect. Instead, they help people see challenges in a new way, one that includes hope, strength, and solutions. For example, many people might say, "This is too hard," or "We can't do this." These words sound like giving up before even starting. They close doors and stop energy. But when you say, "This is challenging, but we can find a way," or "This is difficult, yet it's a chance to grow," your words open doors. They bring light into a situation that might feel dark. They give people courage to keep trying even when things are tough. Positive language changes how people think and feel. When you speak with hope and encouragement, your listeners start to believe that good things are possible. Their energy rises and they become willing to face problems instead of running from them. It's not magic. It's the way our minds respond to words. Positive words act like a light shining in a dark room. They help people see what is possible instead of only focusing on what is wrong. Great leaders and communicators know this well. They don't ignore the difficulties their teams or audiences face. Instead, they speak honestly about challenges, but always with a focus on strength and solutions. They say things like, "We have problems, but together we can solve them," or "The situation is not easy, but it is an opportunity to learn." These words inspire action, hope, and confidence. Using positive words also helps you feel stronger inside. When you practice speaking with hope and kindness, your own mind begins to believe in success and growth. This inner confidence shines through your voice and body language, making your communication even more powerful. A simple way to practice this is to notice your own words when you speak to yourself. Are you saying, "I can't do this," or "This is impossible"? Try changing these to positive phrases like, "I will try my best," or "I can learn from this." The more you use positive words with yourself and others, the easier it becomes, and the more natural it feels. Remember, positive words do not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. They mean choosing to bring light, hope, and courage into every conversation. When you use positive language, you don't just share ideas, you inspire and empower. And that is one of the strongest ways to speak like a leader. Tip 11. Improve your voice. Your voice is one of the most important tools you have when you speak. It's like a musical instrument that can express many feelings: strength, kindness, excitement, or seriousness. How you use your voice can change the entire experience for your listeners. Leaders know this well. They don't just say words, they use their voice to bring those words to life. When you learn to control your voice's speed, volume, and tone, your message becomes more interesting and powerful. Many beginners speak in one flat tone, almost like reading from a script. This makes it hard for people to stay focused. Imagine listening to a story told in the same voice, without any changes in emotion or energy. It becomes boring very quickly. But when a speaker changes their voice, speaking louder at important moments, softer to draw listeners closer, or faster to show excitement, people feel the difference. They stay alert and connected because the voice tells them when something matters. Try practicing the speed of your voice. Speaking too fast can make it difficult for others to understand you, especially if English is their second language too. When you slow down at key points, it helps your listeners catch every word. But speaking too slowly all the time can lose people's interest. The key is to vary your speed. Use a slower pace when sharing something important, then a faster pace to build energy or excitement. This variation keeps your speech lively and natural. Volume is another powerful way to improve your voice. Speaking louder is not about shouting. It's about making sure your important points are heard clearly. When you want to emphasize a key idea, increase your volume just a little. It signals to your listeners, pay attention here. On the other hand, speaking softly can create a feeling of intimacy or mystery. When you lower your voice, listeners lean in to hear you better. This can be very effective when you want to share something personal or serious. Tone is how your voice sounds emotionally. Is it warm and friendly, serious and strong, playful and light? Changing your tone helps express your feelings and keeps your audience emotionally engaged. For example, when you talk about a happy story, a cheerful tone invites smiles and laughter. When you discuss a challenge, a serious tone shows respect and concern. Leaders know how to adjust their tone to match their message perfectly. To improve your voice, practice reading out loud or recording yourself. Listen carefully and notice how changing your speed, volume, and tone changes the feeling of what you say. Try speaking as if you were telling a story to a friend. This helps make your voice natural and expressive. Remember, your voice is more than just sound. It is a bridge between your heart and your listeners' ears. By using your voice well, you keep people interested, help them feel your message, and speak with the power of a true leader. Tip 12. Ask and involve your listeners. Communication is not just about talking, it's about connecting with the people who listen to you. Many beginners think that a speech or conversation means speaking nonstop, sharing all their ideas at once. But the best communicators know that true communication happens when there is a connection between speaker and listener. One of the easiest and most powerful ways to build this connection is by asking questions and involving your listeners. When you ask questions like, "What do you think about this?" or "Have you ever felt the same way?" you invite your audience to join the conversation. These questions make people feel seen and important. They stop being just listeners and become active participants. This involvement makes your message more meaningful because people begin to think deeply about what you say and relate it to their own experience. When you include your listeners, you show respect and care for their thoughts and feelings. It's important to listen carefully when people respond. Good leaders don't just ask questions to hear themselves talk more. They listen closely to answers and respond with kindness and interest. This back and forth creates a dialogue, a real conversation where both sides share ideas and learn from each other. Dialogue makes your speech come alive because it becomes personal and interactive instead of one way. Involving your listeners also helps keep their attention. When people know they might be asked to share their ideas or feelings, they pay closer attention. They don't just hear your words, they prepare to respond. This energy and engagement make your message stronger and more effective. You don't need to ask difficult or complicated questions. Simple ones work best, like, "Have you ever experienced this?" or "How would you handle this situation?" These questions open the door for others to share their stories or opinions. Sometimes just pausing after a question and waiting quietly gives people time to think and respond. Silence in this moment can feel uncomfortable, but it shows respect and encourages participation. Another way to involve your listeners is by using we and us language. Instead of saying, you should do this, say, how can we work together to solve this? This subtle change creates a sense of teamwork and connection, making people feel included rather than judged. Remember, leaders don't speak alone. They create a space for conversation. By asking questions and involving your listeners, you turn your speech from a monologue into a meaningful dialogue. This connection builds trust, understanding, and respect. So next time you speak, don't just talk, ask, listen, and include. That is how you truly speak like a leader. Tip 13. End with a call to action. Don't just finish your talk by saying, thank you. Give your listeners something to do. It could be small, like, think about your why tonight, or bigger, like, share this idea with a friend. A call to action helps your message stay alive in people's minds. Leaders don't just speak to inform, they speak to inspire action. Now let's go deeper into each tip and see how you can really use them every day. Start with why make people care. Imagine you're giving a short talk to your classmates about learning English. If you start by saying, learning English is good, most people won't feel excited. But if you say, I want to share why learning English changed my life and can change yours too, now you've got their attention. Starting with why makes people listen with their hearts, not just their ears. Try it next time you speak, even if it's just with a friend. Listen twice as much as you speak. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. When you listen carefully, people notice. They feel respected and valued. And you get important information, what they care about, what they fear, and what they need. This helps you respond better. If you talk more than you listen, you may miss the real message. Remember, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use them in that ratio. Use simple and clear language. Imagine trying to impress someone by saying, I am endeavoring to facilitate a beneficial outcome. It sounds complicated and cold. Instead, say, I want to help. Clear words reach hearts faster. Leaders speak so everyone can understand. Practice by explaining a complex idea in simple words. It's harder than it sounds, but very powerful. Tell stories, not just facts. Stories bring color and life to your message. Even a short story about your morning can help people see what you mean. For example, I was nervous before this speech, but I told myself to do it anyway. That story makes you relatable. Facts tell, stories sell. When people remember your story, they remember your message. Use your body language. Imagine someone saying, I'm very happy to be here, with crossed arms, looking down, and no smile. You wouldn't believe them, right? Your body language shows your true feelings. Practice speaking in front of a mirror. Notice your hands, face, and posture. It may feel strange at first, but it helps you become more natural and confident. Slow down and use pauses. When you speak too fast, people can't keep up, and you may look nervous. Slowing down helps you choose your words and makes you look calm. Pauses can make your words powerful. For example, we can do better, pause, and we must. The pause adds strength to your words. Practice every day. Practice doesn't need to be long. Even 5 minutes reading aloud helps. Record yourself and listen. Notice your speed, clarity, and tone. Over time, your confidence will grow. Remember, every great speaker was once a beginner. Know your audience. Before you speak, ask yourself, who am I talking to? What do they care about? If you're talking to young people, use examples they understand. If you're talking to workers, use real-life stories. This helps people feel your words are for them, not just for anyone. Be honest and authentic. You don't have to act like someone else. Your story, your mistakes, and your lessons are enough. Authenticity connects people. When you're honest, your words feel real, and real words reach hearts. Use positive words. Instead of saying, this will never work, say, let's see how we can make this work. Positive words don't mean ignoring problems. They mean facing them with hope. Leaders inspire hope, not fear. Improve your voice. Record yourself reading a short paragraph. Listen carefully. Is your voice too flat? Too fast? Too quiet? Practice changing it. Add energy, slow down, or speak louder on keywords. Your voice can make your words come alive. Ask and involve your listeners. When you ask questions, you invite people to join you. Have you ever felt nervous before speaking? Makes people remember their own experience. It also shows you care about them, not just your message. End with a call to action. Don't just say, "That's all." Ask people to do something. It could be try one tip today or share this video with a friend. Action turns words into results. Final thoughts. Speak like a leader. Being a great communicator is not about being perfect or having all the right words all the time. It is about caring deeply, about your message and about the people who listen to you. True leaders speak with honesty, courage, and love. They don't expect to get it right on the first try. Instead, they practice, make mistakes, learn from them, and try again. And the good news is, you can do this too. Every time you speak, whether it's in class, at work, or with friends, you have a chance to inspire, to help, and to lead, even in small ways. You don't need to be perfect or say everything at once. Start small. Choose 1 or 2 tips from this video to practice today. Maybe you will slow down your speech or try to use simple words. Over time, you will notice a difference. Your words will carry more power, your listeners will pay closer attention, and your confidence will grow stronger. Remember this, your voice matters. The world needs more voices like yours, voices that speak with kindness, courage, and clarity. By improving your communication skills, you are not just learning a language, you are learning how to connect. Here we focus on helping you improve your English and communication step by step. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and never stop learning. Because the best leaders are always students first. Thank you for watching. Remember, speak not to impress, but to inspire. See you in the next video.